All right, so after listening to my video earlier, I decided there were some things that I kind of missed, and I wanted to touch on them real quick. So basically, what is Lonzo Ball? He's a utility guy. He what he needs to improve on obviously will be a benefit for him, make him a complete player, which will make him even more valuable. But the main things he does right now at a very good, very high level, he can knock down a three. He's a great passer, high IQ, exceptionally good defender, and a rebounder. That's his skill set. Also, the genetic part is he's 6'6", with I forgot what his wingspan is, but he's got a long ass wingspan and he's 6'6". So just throughout the history of the game, how many point guards have those metrics and those skill sets? It's not that many. So when I say that there's teams that are like the skill set transcends the player, you're not looking for Lonzo Ball. You're looking for those skills. Your team needs such and such things. Now, you might go, that's why when teams go out there looking, they put a priority list. They come up and they say, okay, these are the top guys I want, and then if I can't get them, it goes down and down and down. That's how they divvy that out. But Lonzo Ball's skill set, he does a little of everything. So for him and his talent, it's like wherever most teams are lacking, he's going to be beneficial. As long, and in particular for him, as long as they already have the requisite weapons, it automatically just means he's a plug and play. You could go plug in Lonzo on pretty much any competitively viable team that needs a point guard, and he will instantly make that team click or work or gel. To give you an example, there's guys like Draymond Green. Draymond Green, most people say he has a niche for the Warriors. He actually could fit a couple other teams, the Hawks, uh, Portland, actually Houston this year with Russ and Harden. His skill set is very unique. Granted, he's undersized, so he's physically uh, detrimental in that sense. Although there are some benefits, I guess, for being a little undersized in today's game. Even though I have a feeling that we're going to go back to having big ball. So, but his skill set of passing, IQ, defense on all five positions, rebounding, he's the glue guy. He's valuable to teams that need that. Granted, his stats don't necessarily say he's an elite player, but his package, nice package, but the package of skill sets, like, they work for what the team needs. It's not so much you're not paying for Draymond, you're paying for the skill set or the group of skill sets in that one individual. That's what I'm getting at here. Bam Adebayo, he's like an upgrade to Draymond Green. You think he ain't finna get paid? He's a 6'9" center. Really, he's a power forward, but they play him at center, which he can work at center to some degree. And he can pass, he can shoot, he can rebound. And he plays defense at all five positions. His package of skill sets is not common for his position, and that makes him invaluable to the team. So they're not paying for Bam. They're paying for what Bam does that they can't get anywhere else. There's like, at one point, Steph Curry was pretty much the only guy in the league that had his skill set. And technically, he still does, in my opinion, although Damian Lillard is making a case that he can replicate some of that. But Dame isn't going to be as big as Steph, and Dame isn't going to. There's certain things that Steph has that Dame will never ever have. And we'll get into that argument another day when I talk, my point guard tier list and all this other stuff. But the main thing is when it comes to Lonzo Ball, like, okay, with the Clippers, they've got scoring and then they've got a defender. But do they need that in their point guard? know. And to play them, you lose something. To play Lou, you have no defense, no passing, no rebounding. To play Pat Bev, you don't have pretty much any variable offensive game or any threat. If you plug in Lonzo, you can get the shooting that you need. You can get the support in other places with the defense, and you can get some of the passing that you didn't have on the team to begin with. He would get paid to play on that team because his package of skill sets is necessary. You have to have that, and to be 6'6" and be able to do the stuff that he does, like their lineup is going to be. Let's just assume that he was on the team, 6'6", or if you want to say 6'7", fine. 6'6", I think Kawhi 6'7", 6'8". Paul George is 6'9". Then you got Montrezl Harrell, who's like what 6'9", 6'10", and a couple other guys, Zubac, you know, and the Morrises and stuff. Like that lineup is big. And by the way, the league is going to transition to a future where they have tall point guards. Be on the lookout for it. Lonzo, I think Lonzo and Ben are like kind of like the first generation, and then you got LaMelo coming too. But they're gonna start once they see how effective these guys are in the long term, especially in the postseason. There's going to be a high demand for tall point guards that can make plays. You heard it here first. But the whole point of this thing is to say they're not paying for Lonzo Ball, these teams, or any other player that would be like him. My apologies, guys. That was my school bell for the late bell for the classes. So I'm sorry about that. But anywho, as I was saying, they're not paying for Lonzo Ball. They're paying for the package of skill sets. Because when you have Lonzo Ball, like let's say this, if they were to go get Lonzo Ball, who could you expand at that point? Who could you say, I could be okay without having now? Pat Bev or Lou? You probably would want to keep Lou because he has the offensive firepower. But like I said, if Lonzo actually elevates his offensive game due to his offseason, he get 14, 15 a game, they wouldn't need either one of them. Bye. And they could pay Lonzo to do all of that. And the thing is, who else in the league are you gonna find with that skill set? I'll wait. If you know a point guard that can knock down threes, who's 6'6" or taller, can get rebounds, plays defense, can switch at least 1 through 4, or in some cases he's done 1 through 5. Like there's plays of it, especially against Orlando. He guarded all 5 guys in one possession and defended them all. The IQ, I mean, go ahead. I'm waiting. Any point guard that you name got some weakness. Like if you want to put LeBron there, okay, fine. But LeBron's older too. We just talking about young guys right now. So if we talking about young guys, Ben Simmons can't shoot. He's like, there's certain things you get better. He's a much better defender than Lonzo because he's taller and he can defend all 5. So you get that. The passing, it depends. Because I think Lonzo's better than Ben, and I think Lonzo's a better passer in the full court, whereas I think Ben is a better attacker in the full court. But and Ben is a better rebounder, but he's taller. He should be, you know what I'm saying. But he can't shoot. He can't do anything outside the paint. He can't pull a threat outside the paint. So that's what I was saying. In some cases, you got players like Ben, because I mentioned Ben. Ben could kind of somewhat replicate what Lonzo could do and be better in some instances than Lonzo. But there's certain things like there's not anybody in the league that has those things that Lonzo do in one package. There's some players that has a couple of things. Like you could say Luka has most of the offensive gifts, but he has none of the defensive. And you can go say Ben has all the defense and none of the offense. And you could say a marriage between the two is Lonzo, even though Lonzo isn't going to have the peak value right now that either of them have. He's still trying to develop his game because he'd been hurt and he hadn't had an off season yet. So that's the point of me saying it's sometimes the package or the skills transcend the player. It's not that you need the player, you need the skill set. And we cannot tangibly name anybody 25 or younger that can do exactly what Lonzo does right now. It's just not there. Now, maybe if Ben or some of these other guys start shooting and doing, making up for deficiencies in other places, now you got a bunch of different guys. But Lonzo right now is the cheapest one of those guys that you can get. And he, like I said, he can go play serviceably right now, which is why he will be a hot commodity. But yeah, I just want to kind of, you know, clear up that from my previous video and actually name the things that I was discussing about or talking about for Lonzo Ball. So it's the 3-point shooting. Yes, he's a viable 3-point shooter. He proved that this year. On the first year of his shot, and historically the second year gets even better. So we're expecting a jump historically. He can rebound, he can pass, he can play defense, and he has high IQ, and he's got the genetic gifts of being 6'6" and having a wingspan. Those are things that you do not traditionally see at that position that gives him an unfair advantage and a viable advantage, and that is going to be highly needed in the postseason and for teams in general. So that's my point.